Welcome everyone. Let's explore modules and packages in Python. So in the last session, we explored Lambda functions, how to create anonymous functions, how to use map filter and reduce to process iterables. This helped us understand function level programming in Python. In today's session, we are going to see how Python can organize code better by using modules and packages. We will learn how to import and use Python's built-in libraries, install a third-party package request, and we can how we can create our own reusable code files that can be considered as a modules. Finally, we'll address an important problem, circular imports, and how we can fix them. So first of all, what is a module? So a module helps us split code into reusable parts. Like earlier we were discussing about reusable code by creating functions. Now, as your code base grows, your number of functions will also increase. It could lead to 100, 500 functions. So, uh, dividing these functions in proper reusable files and how to import those functions into required files is also like necessary part to take care of. So, if we write useful functions in one file, we can reuse those functions into another by simply importing that particular file as a module. Python, while itself has many built-in modules that the developers have already created and attached to Python. So some one of the examples of the standard modules, built-in modules that we have is the math module. So how that works is you can simply use import math and then to calculate any kind of a value. So you can use math dot square root and pass in 25. Your output you will get is 5. So these are the modules which you can directly use without installing anything. Then installed packages. So there is an tool that is called as pip. So, which is Python's package manager. With pip, you can install external Python packages by those packages would be developed by some developer and they are made public to be installed. So to use it, you can simply do something like pip install, let's say the package name. So here we are installing the request package, and to use the package, so this is just an example how to use the request library. So here for our demo, we will take an example of using the request library. So what request library essentially does is using the request library, we can essentially communicate with a API endpoint. So if you don't understand what is an API endpoint or what is the functionality, uh, don't worry. This is not the part in the scope of this session, but what you can understand is there is already some code running into a cloud server by some developer, and you can pass some data to that server, and that server will return some values back. So here we are taking an example of an uh, meteorological open API that gives the forecast based on the latitude and longitude which we pass to it, and it can also process the current temperature and hourly temperature as well. And using the request library, what we can do is request.get, pass this URL and the parameters. This is the input data which we are passing, and this data will be processed and some data will be sent back to us. So let's say I will just run this particular file, and this is the output I'm getting. So it gives me temperature, wind speed, and the time, like the current time that it would be, I guess, in USD. So based on this time, we are getting the temperature, wind speed for this particular latitude and longitude. So this is how you can install a library. You just simply need to do pip install requests and then import requests, like whatever the library documentation says. So usually if there is a name in the change in the name of the install package something, you can always refer to the particular package's official documentation, and from it you will find all the information on how to use that package. Then creating our own custom module. So any .py file can be converted to a module. You can define functions or even classes in that particular file, and in the another file you can simply import that particular file. So let's say I have two functions here, utils.py, where I have my function greet, and in my main.py file I will just simply write import utils, and when I write import utils, I will be able to access all the functions from my utils file, utils.py file. So using the this particular API endpoint which you developed, what we are going to do here is I have defined a get weather function here, and this get weather function, if I pass any latitude and longitude, it will return me the current data uh, based on the data processed by the particular API endpoint. And in my main.py file, I will simply do import utils, and here I will pass my latitude and longitude value, which will get passed to this get weather, and this particular variables are getting used here at this particular position. So I will simply need to run, let me create the terminal. I simply need to run python main.py, and here as you see, it's printing the current data. So what it did is we imported utils. So whatever functions were available in utils got imported into main file. Inside the main files, I can simply do utils.getWeather, pass in my values. These values will be passed to utils.py. This value will be calculated, and this data will be returned. And return data I am just printing here. So eventually I don't need to run multiple files. I can have one main file, and I can design multiple different files, each files with its own particular functionality. Let's say I have my API endpoints all segregated into a single file. I have some other utility functions segregated into another file, and I can combine all those together into a single main.py file and create my algorithmic workflow. So what helps us here is this particular workflow will be more cleaner and easier to read when instead of, let's say, we have 20 functions all together grouped in a single file. To understand that workflow, it will be very difficult as your code base grows. So like segregating your functions into files and splitting them into multiple files can be a very good options. So yeah, that is how we can do. And another way to also import this is, let's say you want to particularly import only specific functions, not all the functions. What you can do is can do something like from utils import get weather, and here instead of using utils.getWeather, you can simply use directly get weather. So this will also run in the same way. So yeah, as you can see, we got the result back. So this is how this functionality will work. Either you can directly use import utils, or you can only import specific single function as per your requirement. So ideally you should only import those functions that are required, uh, because in case the utils files has around, let's say, hundreds of functions, then importing those functions can take some time. So when your output time is also critical, only importing the necessary function is what you should be doing. Then talking about the circular import issues. So circular import issues generally occurs when an particular module depends on other module, and also that other module is depending on the current module. So this can cause confusion into Python's interpreter. So the ideal way to resolve this would be to do local imports, like making functions, particularly creating those functions into the local file, or restructuring the code in a way that you are not importing modules between two files to each other. So to give you a more better idea, let's say I have these two files, file A and file B. From file A, I am importing file B's function B, and in function B, I am importing file as function A. So what happens is, let's say I try to run Python file A. So here you can see import error, cannot import name func B from partially initialized module file B, mostly likely due to circular import. Now here in case I think if I not call this function b here, right? So, or let's say, mm, that I'm already calling calling function a here. So what is happening here is function a is being used in function b. So when I'm calling this function b in so what happens is it goes to function b, and from function b it tries to call function a from file a file. So what happens is ideally the workflow looks like file A calls file B calls file A to answer to the file A's question itself. So what happens is it creates a circular import. The loop continues in a flow of file A, file B, file A, file B. So this is what is called as circular imports, that the calls between the files appear to be in a circular pattern. So this is what causes these issues. So ideally what you can do is restructure your code in a way that uh, file B does not call file A. Right. So you can see the function A, uh, like calling function B from file A. So this function B now works because from function B, I'm not calling back function A again. So that's how you can resolve this kind of issues. And your function A shall be ideally called in your function A file only. So I can simply do right. So here in this case, function A shall be situated in your file A only to be called from file A, and function B is already getting called from file B. It should not, like, the process should not be like you call function B to call function A back. That will cause circular import issues. So today we understood about managing and organizing your code, understood the difference between modules, packages, how we can unlock, like uh, install the external libraries and make use of that. And this will unlock a very powerful Python ecosystem, because Python ecosystem is over, I guess, 1 million public libraries which you can use of. So it's kind of like 1 million public libraries you can choose from to do different kind of programming applications. We also saw how to identify and handle issues like circular imports. In the next session, we will dive into Python standard library and see the inbuilt uh, packages that are already pre-installed and ready to use for tasks like system control, mathematical operations, date and time management, and also another package called as random, which helps us generate random numbers. So yes, that was it for the session. Thank you for joining today's session. Let's meet in the next session. Have a nice day.